It freaked us out. He got really serious, put a hand on his belt. We realized that this cop had intentionally trapped us. We still got in plenty of trash talking between the four of us. Have you ever been seen as a potential suspect in a robbery? Because we were right in the middle of filming a scene for Carpe Diem in our hometown. After shooting overseas, we came back to fill in key scenes with the people and places we knew best. What followed was part production, part nostalgia, and part chaos. Lesson 1, work in areas you're familiar with. After reviewing what we'd already filmed, I wrote a few new intro scenes set back in the US to help establish the characters and show what was changing before they went abroad. On August 17th, 2012, we returned to York School, the high school we'd graduated from, because classes had started up again, so we were able to get a couple of people to agree to act in Carpe Diem just by recruiting friends during lunchtime. That meant we had a lot more people on set than we were used to, though, so Rachel Carter, the same horror student I'd mentioned in the previous episode who directed It's a Process, she agreed to be the production manager for our York School portion of the film, and we gave her a small speaking role as well. So on August 18th, we arrived at York School around 8 a.m. and started the day with Rachel and Colin's scene, which I called At School Jack, named after Colin's character. Our first shot of the day was the master shot for Jack's classroom scene. Master being the whole scene from start to finish, often from a wide angle, so you can get everything that's going on. After 7 takes, we had what we needed. Then we shot some close-ups for the intro and on Rachel's character, who was one of Jack's teachers in the film. We'd gotten some funny improvs and outtakes that made it into the blooper reel as well. Check them out!
Jack, you forgot page 3. I can't take the file now, bitch! Get your ass back over here and take this file!
For the next scene, we needed a few girls that Aaron's character Daniel was hitting on, so we asked Haley Lane, who you'll recognize from Season 1, Episode 11, Clara Cushing, another recent York graduate, and Holly Bryant to come out that day for what I called Scene at School Daniel. I hadn't seen Holly since middle school. She'd heard about the film via Facebook, if I remember correctly, but apparently I'd changed enough that she didn't even recognize me on set. The scene went fairly smoothly, but we cut a couple bloopers from that scene too.
Forget school. I just want to get away from here, you know? See the world. I look straight at the camera. I don't know why. I'm so sorry. I just want to travel the world, you know? Just see every day.
You're gonna have so much fun.
Hey Daniel, got new.
What was that?
You were laughing at me.
I don't know. I was smiling at you. It's a natural response.
Hold for plane.
Oh, I get it.
As for the plot, I was happy to establish Daniel as a player who knew how to talk to women, so it made the rest of the film a little more believable. After that, we shot Scene at School Brian, and Ammon Hardy's character Bryant appeared on screen. It felt good to cement him as an actor in this film, even though he hadn't been able to take the trip with us. And damn, did he memorize his lines and play his part well. We shot 4 angles, 1 take each, and that was the scene. No second take of any angle. It was the smoothest scene we shot in the whole film because Ammon had taken the part seriously and put in the work beforehand. After that, we packed up for the day, said goodbye to most of our friends, filmmakers, and actors, and left York School behind after getting everyone's names and contact info written down on our ever-growing credits list. After a Jamba Juice and Jack in the Box lunch break, the Outtake crew members returned to Salinas and shot Scene Bryant in the Car in 14 different takes and angles while we drove around the Toro Park and Creekside areas. At 6:15 p.m., we shot the final take and angle of that scene, and that was a wrap on production for the day. We returned to my place and looked over the footage, and I was happy to have all these people that I'd grown up with and been friends with for so long be part of the film. Not only did it solve our problem of needing to cast a bunch of students, but in some ways it felt like a great time capsule of that era before we moved on to the next steps of our lives. Plus, we'd known exactly where we wanted to shoot at York School because, we'd seen it 5 days a week for years. And the school didn't mind if we shot there without a permit because they trusted us not to do anything too crazy. Yeah, nothing too crazy. Yeah. So there were a number of perks to shooting in an area we were already familiar with. After that, we cooked 4 packets of what we called Maruchan ramen, but I think is actually supposed to be pronounced Maruchan ramen. We didn't know. And then we played the 2010 Call of Duty Black Ops game on my Xbox 360 until we got so tired we crashed right there on the floor of my living room. Fun fact for my fellow gamers, I didn't have Xbox Live back then, so we were still rocking 4-player split screen on a standard definition TV. No DLCs or online matchmaking, but don't worry, we still got in plenty of trash talking between the 4 of us. Lesson 2. Prioritize consistency over quality while in project. We woke up on my living room floor on August 19th. We had a slow start that morning, a little groggy, but around 1 p.m., Ammon drove us to 7-Eleven, and we got Slurpees and hot dogs for breakfast to give us some kind of energy for the day. Yeah, don't judge us, I know. Then we drove a few minutes down to Kelton Park. We figured out how we wanted to shoot the scene that we had planned, and then shot what I called Scene Meeting Bryant, with Ammon, Aaron, Colin, and I. We shot the first intro clip of the car pulling up, and then someone immediately started mowing their lawn, and it became impossible to record audio for a few minutes. It was frustrating, but there was nothing we could do. Guerrilla filmmaking meant we had to abide by the conditions around us and just hope it didn't take too long. I actually shot a clip of the guy because I was bored while waiting for him to stop mowing his lawn. We managed to get a few shots of the scene recorded after he stopped mowing the lawn.
Guys! Right.
But then a police car drove up toward us and stopped a short distance away. It was close enough that someone whispered, "Oh, and Aaron started rolling the camera. Suddenly, the patrol car started accelerating toward us. You can see the speed in the clip, and then he slammed on the brakes, kicking up rocks and dust. Aaron stopped recording when that happened, worried about the camera lens as we spat dust out of our mouths. And we realized that this cop had intentionally trapped us between our car and his. We were worried he was coming to arrest us or something. The officer got out of the car and said somebody had robbed the nearby 7-Eleven. However, when he saw that Aaron was holding a camera, he got really serious, put a hand on his belt and said, "You'd better turn that off." And it suddenly felt like we were going to have a real problem here. Aaron showed him the camera wasn't even recording, but again, he said, "Turn it off." And we traded a few fearful glances back and forth as Aaron turned the camera all the way off. The officer then questioned us, asking if we'd been to the 7-Eleven. Yeah, we were there earlier that day. Did you see anything suspicious? No, this was over an hour ago. We've been in the park for over an hour. And after a dramatic silence, he nodded and left. It freaked us out. Mostly because we hadn't realized that pointing a video camera at a police officer would be taken that seriously, and we'd never had someone drive up on the dirt to try to box us in like that before. After we calmed down, we managed to get back to shooting, but perhaps a little less animated than before.
Yes! Whoa! Put that on YouTube. Put it on YouTube.
Once we got the scene shot, we packed up and drove back to my place and hung out there for a little while, still talking about the incident with the police. And then Samir Narain and Bieto de la Fuente, who I mentioned in the previous episode, met us there to help film the scenes we were supposed to shoot in the living room and the kitchen. We got our first shot around 7:30 p.m., but I added a part where Colin's character Jack had to leave early, specifically because he couldn't stay as late as the rest of us. So, I had to adjust the film based on what was actually going on around us.
My I changed it already, I forgot.
Started to get pretty bad.
How so?
I'm hungry.
I'm starving too.
Alright.
Why the f*** would you do that?
Around 9:30 p.m., we moved to the kitchen to shoot the ending, but to be honest, Aaron wasn't really a fan of Bieto's lighting style choices in the kitchen. I believe he thought it would look too different from what we'd shot previously, so I was glad to see Aaron push back against the choices he'd made in order to keep the lighting more consistent with the rest of the film. Because it wasn't about which lighting setup was better, it was about consistency. Audiences forgive a lot of things if they feel intentional, but if it felt like a drastically different style, people would wonder as to the motivation behind that choice. Why did we do that? So Aaron made sure we had similar semi-natural lighting throughout the film as much as possible. We got the last shot of the night around 11 p.m., and everyone took off pretty quickly at that point because of how late it was. It was like a 10-hour production day for most of us, but I was very happy we'd gotten all the storytelling scenes shot, and we're much, much closer to a completed film now. Looking back on it, the way we shot the telling the story to Ammon scenes kind of feels like how I'm shooting this Live Life for the Stories series now, except instead of telling a semi-fictional tale to Ammon, I'm telling a totally fictional tale to you guys. But you'll have to tune in next week to find out how we managed to prepare 2 editors to work on Carpe Diem while they were 200 miles apart.
Well, Daniel says hi.
What?
Mind f***.